Hello, beautiful damsels. The strongest people aren't those who show strength in front of us, but those who win battles we know nothing about. Sigma females walk a path few understand and even fewer can follow. She's not loud, she's not seeking validation, and she sure isn't trying to intimidate anyone, yet somehow she does. Her quiet strength, her independence, and her refusal to conform send a ripple through the room, leaving others unnerved. But they can't quite figure out why. In this video, we're diving into the subtle yet powerful signs that a Sigma female is far more intimidating than she even realizes. Brace yourself, because this isn't about cliches or surface-level confidence. This is about the kind of presence that shakes people to their core without her ever saying a word. Number 1, her presence makes others question themselves. When a Sigma female enters a room, something shifts. But it's not because she's trying to dominate the space. It's her energy, calm, unbothered, and fiercely self-contained, that makes others start to feel uneasy. People are used to being able to size up others quickly, placing them into neat little boxes. But with her, that doesn't happen. There's nothing to cling to, no obvious clues to her intentions or thoughts. And that's where the discomfort begins. Without uttering a word, she has this unintentional effect of making others question themselves. They start wondering if they're saying the right things, if they're being too loud or too shallow. Her grounded presence highlights the insecurities they try to keep hidden, and the more she's silent, the more they feel exposed. It's like her very existence forces them to reflect on themselves in ways they hadn't planned. It's not that she's intentionally trying to make people feel inferior. She's just living in her own world, detached from their need for constant approval or chatter. But in doing so, she becomes a reminder to others of what they lack, whether it's confidence, self-assurance, or simply the ability to be comfortable in their own skin. And that unspoken comparison is what makes her presence so intimidating. She doesn't have to lift a finger or say a thing. People start questioning their own worth just by being around her. Number 2. Her emotional detachment is misread as superiority. A Sigma female's ability to stay calm under pressure is both impressive and intimidating. When chaos erupts around her, whether it's a heated argument, a sudden crisis, or a high-stakes situation, she remains unflinchingly composed. While others are losing their heads, scrambling to react or letting their emotions take over, she stands as a pillar of steady resolve. This calmness is disconcerting because it's so rare. Most people are used to emotional reactions, panic, or visible stress, but her ability to maintain her poise makes others feel like they're the ones losing control. Her calm isn't about being passive or detached. It's about an unshakable inner strength that allows her to assess the situation, make rational decisions, and act with precision. She handles pressure with a level of grace that feels almost otherworldly, like she's operating on a different plane of stability. What makes her composure particularly unsettling is that it often forces others to confront their own weaknesses. Watching her navigate through chaos without breaking a sweat can highlight their own inability to handle similar situations with the same level of control. It's not just that she remains calm, it's that she does so effortlessly, while everyone else is struggling to keep it together. This contrast is a sharp reminder of how dependent people are on their emotional responses, and her ability to stay unfazed becomes a mirror reflecting their own vulnerabilities. Number 3. Her silence is deafening. When a Sigma female chooses silence, it speaks louder than words. In a world where most people feel the need to fill every gap in conversation with noise, her quietness feels unsettling. People expect some form of reaction, whether it's a nod, a comment, or even just a filler word. But when she remains silent, it leaves others on edge, wondering what she's thinking. It's as if she's observing, calculating, and weighing everything, and that makes people nervous. What makes this silence even more intimidating is that people often assume it's intentional. They think she's being judgmental or holding something back, even when she's just processing things in her own way. They start reading into the quiet, trying to guess what she might be thinking, and the longer it lasts, the more uncomfortable they get. Her silence becomes a blank canvas onto which others project their own fears and insecurities. The truth is, She doesn't need to fill every moment with words because she's comfortable in her own company. She's not afraid of the quiet, but many others are. Her ability to sit in silence while others squirm exposes just how dependent most people are on constant validation and reassurance. It's not that she's deliberately trying to unsettle anyone, but the fact that she's so at ease in the stillness makes everyone else question why they aren't. That's where the intimidation comes from. Her silence doesn't just speak, it challenges. Number 4, she walks away without apology. When a Sigma female decides to walk away, she doesn't look back, and that's what makes her so intimidating. Most people are used to long explanations, drawn-out apologies, or at least some kind of reasoning when someone chooses to exit their life or a situation. But not her. When she's done, and she leaves without offering a single excuse or justification. It's not because she's cold or heartless, it's because she values her peace and respects her boundaries more than the need to be understood. Her ability to walk away without second-guessing herself sends a powerful message that leaves people shaken. It tells them that they no longer have any control over her emotions or decisions, and that kind of detachment is rare. People are often left wondering what they did wrong or how she could move on so easily. But the reality is that she doesn't owe anyone an explanation. She's mastered the art of self-preservation, and if something or someone isn't adding value to her life, she'll cut ties with surgical precision. What makes this even more unnerving is that her decision to leave isn't born out of anger or bitterness. It's calm, collected, and almost surgical. It's as if she's weighed the pros and cons, realized that sticking around is no longer worth her time, and made her exit without a second thought. That kind of emotional control, that refusal to engage in unnecessary drama or cling to what's no longer serving her, is something most people can't comprehend, and it's why, when she walks away, she leaves a lasting impact. Number 5. Her independence feels like a rejection. A Sigma female's independence is like a force field, and it often makes others feel more insignificant than they'd like to admit. She doesn't need anyone to complete her or fill any gaps in her life. She's comfortable in her solitude, and her self-sufficiency is so strong that it makes people question their own role in her world. This can be unsettling, especially for those who are used to being needed or validated by others. Her ability to stand on her own 2 feet, without relying on anyone for emotional support or approval, can feel like a quiet rejection. It's not that she's pushing people away, but her independence makes others realize just how replaceable they are in her life. She's not the type to cling or to seek constant reassurance. This can leave people feeling unimportant, like they don't have the usual leverage over her that they might have with others. What really throws people off is how content she is without them. Most people need some level of attention, validation, or connection to feel whole, but she doesn't. She operates on her own terms, and her happiness doesn't hinge on whether or not someone is there to give it to her. This lack of dependency can make others feel as though they don't matter, and that's where the intimidation kicks in. The realization that she's perfectly fine on her own, and always will be, makes them question their own worth in her life. Number 6. She sees through facades instantly. A Sigma female's ability to keep her emotions under control is unnerving for many people. While others wear their hearts on their sleeves or let their emotions dictate their actions, she remains composed, almost unreadable. It's not that she doesn't feel things deeply, she absolutely does, but she's mastered the art of not letting her emotions control her or expose her vulnerabilities. This kind of emotional discipline can be intimidating, especially to those who are used to provoking reactions or seeing people lose their cool. What really throws people off is that they can't predict her next move. When faced with situations that would send most people spiraling or reacting impulsively, she remains unshaken. Her calm demeanor gives nothing away, leaving others scrambling to figure out where they stand with her. It's like dealing with a poker player who never shows her hand. And it makes people nervous because they don't know if she's silently furious, completely indifferent, or strategically waiting to make her move. Her emotional control isn't about suppressing her feelings. It's about choosing when and how to express them on her own terms. She's not easily rattled, and that level of self-possession can make others feel powerless. They realize they can't manipulate her emotions or get under her skin like they can with most people. Her calmness acts as a mirror, reflecting back their own lack of control, and that's what makes her so intimidating. While they're busy trying to figure her out, she's already 3 steps ahead, quietly observing and deciding whether or not it's even worth responding. Number 7. Her standards are unreachable for the average person. A Sigma female never seeks validation from others, and that's something most people find unsettling. In a world where so many rely on likes, compliments, and approval to feel good about themselves, she operates on a completely different level. Her confidence isn't tied to anyone's opinion. It comes from within. She doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, and that quiet self-assurance can be hard for others to understand, let alone match. When people try to impress her, they quickly realize she's not impressed by superficial things like status, money, or charm. She doesn't give out praise lightly, and this makes others desperate for her approval even though she's not offering it. They find themselves trying harder, doing more, hoping for some kind of acknowledgement, but it never comes. The more she stays indifferent, the more they feel inadequate. What makes this even more intimidating is that her confidence isn't loud or flashy. She's not out there boasting about her achievements or putting herself on display. Instead, it's the kind of confidence that speaks for itself, subtle but impossible to ignore. She knows exactly who she is and what she's capable of, and because of that, she's not interested in competing for anyone's attention or praise. This leaves people feeling exposed, realizing that their attempts to gain her approval only highlight their own insecurities. It's her unwavering sense of self that creates a quiet storm, leaving others questioning why they don't have the same inner strength. Number 8. She doesn't chase attention, and that's what draws it. A Sigma female doesn't follow the crowd, and that alone makes her stand out in a way that unnerves people. While most are eager to blend in, fit societal expectations, or do what's popular just to feel included, she simply doesn't care about conforming. She's wired differently, focused on her own path, her own goals, and her own beliefs. And it's not an act of rebellion or trying to be different for the sake of it. It's just that her sense of direction comes from within, not from external pressure or trends. This refusal to conform makes others uncomfortable because it challenges the unspoken rules of how people are supposed to behave. When everyone's running in one direction and she calmly walks in the opposite, it creates a ripple of discomfort. People start questioning their own choices, wondering why they feel the need to do what everyone else is doing when she seems so free from that pressure. Her independence, her disregard for social norms, forces them to reflect on how much of their lives are driven by what others expect. What's even more intimidating is that she doesn't seek approval or validation for going against the grain. She's not looking for applause or attention, it's just who she is. Her authenticity shines through in a way that makes people realize how much of themselves they've compromised to fit in. In her presence, they're reminded of all the times they went along with things they didn't believe in, just to avoid standing out. And that's a hard mirror to face. It's her quiet defiance, her unwavering authenticity, that leaves others feeling shaken. In the end, a Sigma female's quiet strength and unwavering self-assurance make her a force to be reckoned with. Her subtle yet powerful presence challenges conventional expectations and forces those around her to confront their own insecurities. She doesn't seek attention or validation, nor does she follow the crowd or bend to societal pressures. Instead, she navigates life with a calm and unyielding confidence that leaves a lasting impression. Her ability to stay composed under pressure, combined with her refusal to conform and her effortless emotional control, makes her more intimidating than she might ever realize. It's not about overt displays of power or dominance. It's about a profound internal strength that radiates from within. For those who encounter her, it's a reminder that true power doesn't always need to be loud. It's often the quiet, steadfast force that makes the biggest impact. If you found this video insightful and engaging, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share it with others who might appreciate these unique insights. Your support means a lot and helps us continue bringing you content that's both captivating and thought-provoking. Thanks for watching. Thanks damsels for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye and stay blessed.